What's up, you guys? My name is Matt, and if you're new here, I want to welcome you to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about a very interesting project that just launched about a day and a half ago. And what makes it so unique to me is that they're doing decentralized trading inside of a smart contract, meaning the dev doesn't have access to the TVL to do trading. It's all happening within the smart contract, and it pays 2 to 5% a day. Now, before you wave a red flag and say, no, that's too good to be true, well, let me unpack all that in this video as we talk about Dex Factory. Okay, before we dive in, I'm going to be giving away 50 BUSD on this video, and all you have to do is leave an insightful comment. So don't leave something that's just one word or that you gave no thought to. It's got to be a legit comment. Maybe it's an aha moment that you got. Maybe it's a question that you have about the protocol, whatever it is. Leave that in the comment section of this video, and you'll be entered to win that 50 BUSD. I'm going to select it randomly at some point, probably tomorrow or the next day. Also, like this video. It's the best way to show me your support, which I really appreciate, and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you along for the journey. So jumping right into Dex Factory, what caught my attention is they're actually trying to earn this 2 to 5% to pay people out using decentralized trading inside of the smart contract. So that's what's different than anything else out there that I've seen, at least me personally. They're actually doing trades inside the smart contract, meaning they do not have access to the TVL. So usually when you have a protocol like this, what we've seen in the past with these AI bot platforms where they're using bots or they're doing manual trading, there is a backdoor to the contract because they have to access the TVL funds. And what does that do? Well, that means there's a huge trust factor there where you have to have trust in them that they're not going to steal the money, because they could if they wanted to. And in a lot of cases, that has been the case where they stole the money. So that trust factor is kind of like I don't know, it keeps a lot of people out of these protocols. So what these guys did is they said, hey, let's write it into the smart contract where they are going to actually work on these decentralized platforms, and they're going to execute trades inside the smart contract where they can execute the trades, but they can't touch the TVL personally. So I think that was one of the very first things that caught my attention. But as we dive into this, you're going to see it's kind of like, if you're familiar with Wealth Mountain, they took some of the elements of Wealth Mountain and maybe something like Wolf Capital that's trading to produce their daily percentage payout. And then they also took maybe even some concepts from Baked Beans or some kind of a miner where you have to do, some kind of a strategy like a 6-to-1 compound to claim strategy. So I'm going to unpack all that inside this video. That's kind of the core of what Dex Factory is. It actually launched about 2 days ago at the time of this recording. They have 155 BNB in the protocol. You can see 0.55 has been withdrawn, and they're offering that 2 to 5% a day on whatever you invest. Now let's go ahead and break that down, because this is part of what makes it a little bit interesting to me. So here's how they have it. So if you're in it every 15 days, you start out at 2%. And after 15 days, so days 16 to 30, you're going to be earning 3% on your money. And then 31 to 45, you're going to earn 4%. 46 to 60 days, you're going to earn 5%. Now, here's what you need to know about this exit protocol, meaning if you wanted to take your funds out. So if you wanted to take your funds out in the first 15 days, you're going to get hit with a 90% fee. And this steps down as time goes on. So 15 days later, it's going to be 70%, and then 60, and then 46 to 60 days, it's going to be 50%. Anytime after 60 days, it's also going to be 50% until you have reached your ROI. If you reach your ROI, you cannot withdraw your original. So this is one of the ways they're trying to make this more sustainable. This element here with the 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, that's what reminds me of Wealth Mountain. And if you were in Wealth Mountain, you know that thing grew crazy big, but the problem was everybody had access to all of their funds, including their initial. They were earning 5% a day, and then there was a huge bank run. And guess what? Within 30 minutes, the contract was dry. So this is their way of saying, what, that concept really was attractive to people, but how could we fix it? At least that's my take on it anyway. They haven't even told me that they modeled it after that. It just reminds me of it. And it's also worth noting these fees, they don't go in the dev's wallet. So if you get hit with a 90% withdrawal fee, it's going back into the TVL. So that should help make things more sustainable. It should make it where people can't do a bank run. The most damage they could do is 5% a day. And on top of that, you can only withdraw what you put in. So if you put in 1 BNB, you can actually only take out that 1 BNB. Actually a little bit less, 10%, because there's a 10% deposit fee. So what does that mean? How can you even earn money with this protocol? Well, that's where the claim strategy comes into play, where you're probably going to need to do something like a 6-to-1, where you're compounding 6 times and you are claiming once. So that flashy number of 2 to 5%, it might end up being more like 2 to 5% a week if you do a 6-to-1. That to me seems a lot more digestible than paying somebody 5% a day indefinitely. So if you deposit 1 BNB, and let's say you're in this for 60 days, you're at that 5% ROI mark, and you're actually earning 0.05 BNB a day. Now, is that going to change anyone's life? I don't think so. But I think the idea is in that time span, you would have earned 3 BNB and probably you would have compounded a lot of that back in there. So let's say that you have 3 BNB now. Well, now you're earning 0.15 BNB a week, essentially, if you're doing the 6-to-1. But if this kept going and you kept doing 6-to-1, you could take a small amount and you could grow it pretty big. If you deposited 101, you'd be making 5 BNB a day. But remember, in that time span of 60 days, you would have accumulated 300 BNB and probably deposited a lot of that back in. These are rough numbers, but let's say 290 of them went back in. You'd be getting 14 BNB a week. Well, that's pretty cool. So you guys kind of get the picture. I'm sure people will develop their own strategies on how to play this and what the best way to play it is. But I think the hinge pin to making all of this work where it's not a Ponzi is their decentralized trading. Remember, the protocol just launched, I think, about 2 days ago or a day and a half ago. And I've been talking with the dev. I've been grilling them, asking them a bunch of questions. And everything is going to be on chain for you to see. Now, they did their first trade yesterday, and actually they made a very small profit. It was almost a break even, but they barely made some money. But I think their goal is to really amp this up. He said they want to start doing like 20 to 25 trades a day, and they want to trade with 20% of the TVL. So if the TVL is 100,000, they're going to trade with 20,000, etc. But literally you can go in on chain and look at the actual trades happening. You can go to BSC scan, you can see they traded 2 Bitcoin and then from Bitcoin back to BNB. So as this continues and progresses and we see actual profit being made, I think that's going to seal the deal and bring a lot more confidence to investors who are investing in this protocol, because then you're going to see, wow, okay, this could really be sustained. And once you understand that the 2 to 5%, it's really more like 2 to 5% a week if you're doing a 6-to-1 compound to claim strategy. So I threw a BNB in here. And remember, there's a 10% deposit fee. So 6% of that goes to the dev and 4% of it goes to referral, whoever referred you. If you don't use a referral, which you don't have to, it's just going to go all 10% will go to the dev. You're still going to get hit with that 4%. It's just not going to go to the person who referred you. It's just going to go to the dev. But like I said, I threw in 1 BNB, which took me down to 0.9. This morning, I went ahead and did my first reinvest, which took me to 0.9136. So I'm earning about 0.0183 BNB a day, which is not a lot and not super sexy. But the idea is you could start small if you want to, or they even mentioned if you have a large bag, it might be 6 compounds in 1 day and 1 claim a day. I'm sure some people will use multiple wallets, so you can have a claim day like every day of the week if you use 7 different wallets. That's something that will develop over time. But I think you guys get the concept. It's actually not too difficult once you understand it. You're earning 2% a day to start out. You can only take out up to what this number is right here. So at this point in time, I couldn't withdraw more than 0.91 if I just did a withdrawal every single day. And there's really no point in that. Like it just can't, anyone who wants to claim, like you're going to lose because you're going to be down 10%. So it automatically nullifies people that just want to wreck the contract and not do a strategy where you do a compound to claim ratio. They have a white paper, which I'll link below, which you guys can read through that. They have a Telegram group, and you guys can go through this, and I covered most of it in this video. There is also a withdrawal fee to be aware of, which is 2% fee on withdrawals. So there's that 6%, which is really 10% on deposits, and a 2% on withdrawals. If you jump over to the audit, it was done by the stamp. You can see they got an overall score of 76. And most importantly, they have 100%, which means there are no backdoors in the contract. They do not have access to the TVL. So the trades that they're doing, unlike anything that I've seen, they're doing it inside the smart contract. The stamp said this smart contract has been reviewed by the stamp and found no backdoor code. There is no malicious code that allows the owner or others to withdraw funds from the smart contract. And a stamp gives the warning, which they probably give to most DeFi projects. Yield farms, they're calling it a yield farm, without external funding are gambling products and should be considered such. High risk, high reward, always do your own research. Now, Dex Factory would probably argue with that, saying, well, there is external funding coming from our decentralized trading, right? That's what I would say if I was them. So I think this is pretty unique. I think this could catch fire if their trading really takes off and people can see everything right there on-chain evidence that they're making these trades inside the smart contract and they're making money. Then I think this thing could really get legs and really get moving. So that's basically it. Once I kind of see the trades taking place and this thing gaining traction, I'll probably drop a couple more BNB in here and see how this thing takes off over time. As always, you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, and you should definitely do your own research. So join their Telegram group. They're very active in there. You can get all your questions answered. You guys should be reading the white paper. You need to understand that there's risk involved. So only use capital that you're totally fine. It's disposable. You wouldn't care if you lost it. Okay, that really wraps up my review on Dex Factory. If you guys got value out of this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you check out all these amazing videos right here on my channel. You guys are amazing. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.